I'm sure, Cody, you probably played Kingdom Hearts growing up yourself.
I'm aware.
Yeah, okay. So, for me to bring that to you...
Very Cloud of him. Alright everyone, the panel for Final Fantasy VII that we're going to be checking out today should be a fun one and a special one. And you might be asking yourself, Corduroy, why is this one so special? You've checked out a lot of Final Fantasy panels. Why is this one different? Look at the thumbnail, my guy. It features 2 voices for Cloud and 2 voices for Sephiroth. Cody Christian, who is the current English voice for Cloud in the 7 Remake series. Tyler Hoechlin, who is the former / maybe could return one day, voice of Sephiroth in Remake, Rebirth, and Crisis Core Reunion. And it also features the voices of my childhood, Steve Burton, who was the first English voice for Cloud, and George Newbern, who is the second English voice for Sephiroth, but the most known. The first being Lance Bass. I always forget Lance, which is weird because I love NSYNC, I like Lance. I always forget he was the first English voice back in Kingdom Hearts 1, but George is the most recognized. And this panel took place back in June at NostalgiaCon in Anaheim, California, and it's coming to us from the lovely folks of It's Recording Time Media, whose stuff we've checked out quite a bit here on the channel. So if you would like to watch just the panel on its own without this idiot yapping, there will always be a link in the description down below. Now, It's Recording Time Media does put a bit of a disclaimer. Unfortunately, out of all the panels that they recorded, this was the only panel where the audio video guy forgot to record the audio from like the actual sound system. So it's not going to sound as clear as the previous panels we've checked out from It's Recording Time Media, but I'll try my best in post to boost the audio and clean it up if I can. Now, I don't know what to expect from this panel. It is a short one. I believe it's 20 minutes long, might be 30, but this panel took place after Revelation was revealed. So I'm curious to see if Tyler is able to speak on maybe why he couldn't come back, maybe his thoughts on not being able to finish out, you know, the voice of Sephiroth with Revelation. Other than that, I have no clue what to expect from this panel, but I don't think we've ever gotten something like this before where the current voices, mostly current, get to actually chat with the previous voices. This is really cool, so I'm excited to check it out. All right, without further ado, let's check out the panel.
Teen Wolf Superman panel. I mean, come on, that's beautiful. All right, sweet. So getting...
All right, yeah, the audio's not great. I'll see what I can do in post. But this is cool. We've never gotten something like this before. Final Fantasy panel.
Steve Burton.
Oh, that room sounds packed.
Tyler Hoechlin.
Steve looking jacked.
Hey,
Tyler looking jacked.
Cheese, hello.
Also, I feel like George Newbern hit an age and he just stopped aging.
There's a lot of folks out.
Wow, yeah. It's a great crowd, right, guys? Amazing crowd.
Also, shout out to the host. I never got his name, but he did the previous NostalgiaCon panel that we covered with Britt, Susie, Brianna, and John.
Guys, for coming today, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Sick.
Awesome. Well, starting out, are you guys local to Anaheim, to Cali, or if so, is this your first time here?
Uh-oh.
Originally, yes, I'm from Corona, Norco. Any IU people? Dang, let's go. A lot of time in Anaheim.
Yeah, I live in Orange County, so it's easy for me. And George?
Century City, Westwood.
There you go.
California boys.
I love it. Well, how many of you guys are locals to Anaheim? That's awesome. So give it up for yourselves. Come on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Cody will be joining us a little bit later, so that's okay. But first of all, thank you guys so much for being here. I wanted to say this for, well, if we had Cody here, but it's really awesome. It's a rare treat that not only do we get 2 Sephiroths, 2 True Clouds,
Yeah.
2 Supermen.
Yeah, I forgot. Tyler, my favorite Superman of all time. If you've not watched Superman and Lois, watch that show. It is so good. 4 seasons, very easy watch, lovely. George obviously voiced Superman in a number of animated projects. Travis, who is the current new voice of Sephiroth, also voiced Superman in a project. The Japanese voice actor for Sephiroth voiced Superman. Somebody at Square Enix really loves Superman.
Oh, right? That's crazy. I mean, it's a rare treat. And also, Teen Wolf, right?
There's Cody.
I know one Sephiroth is no match for one Cloud, but I heard you needed some reinforcements here, my brother. Thank you guys for having me.
That's right.
So,
one microphone is just
basically,
dead.
Guys, this is a Final Fantasy Teen Wolf Superman panel. I mean, come on, it's beautiful.
It's a mega panel.
All right, sweet. So
Also, again, it's super cool to see Tyler get more involved with Final Fantasy. Unfortunately, he couldn't come back for Revelation. I'm assuming, again, it's due to scheduling conflicts, but it hit at the worst time because he's really getting out there now for his voice work as Sephiroth, and it just happened to be when he couldn't come back to finish out the trilogy. So awkward timing, but it's cool to see him get more involved.
getting right into it. Final Fantasy is a huge IP. I mean, it's an immense IP, and we have a lot of Final Fantasy fans out here, right? So for you four, right, what does it mean for you personally and also professionally to know that you are now part of the Final Fantasy legacy?
That's the cool thing too. Tyler might not be in Revelation, but man, did he kill it in Remake and Reunion and Rebirth. I loved his interpretation of Sephiroth.
It's really fun to be part of something that lasts more than 6 weeks. In show business, it's fun to have a job that continues in some form or another. And these cons are a great way to be guys. But Superman and Final Fantasy, I had no idea they were going to last this long. So it's an honor, that's for sure. Steve?
Yeah, so I guess for me, it's just, I started doing these cons about a couple years ago because George was like, hey, you should do these cons. And I didn't know how iconic Cloud was until I started doing these cons, so thank you very much. It's been amazing, and Final Fantasy is an incredible series, so it's an honor to be a part of it, and it's just been a great ride for sure.
I also had no idea how big it was when I booked this job. But same thing, you can do all the research about the character and storylines and things like that, but to really understand the fandom behind something, you kind of have to come to this. So it's been very cool to meet you guys and see the passion behind the characters, and it's been a very, very fun to do.
For me, look, I grew up playing video games, right? A different style of video games, but video games have always been a part of my life. So I've understood how impactful and how much they can resonate. It's meant the world to me. And there's been times where I've been in the darkest parts of my life, is super duper depressed, and like playing video games was the only thing that I could muster the strength to do.
Yeah.
So coming into this, I understood the responsibility on my shoulders. Incredibly grateful for these two gentlemen sitting next to us. Like, this couldn't be done without them, and I want to be able to say that here live now in person. So the utmost respect, the flowers, thank you guys for making
You're welcome, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And kind of the point that you said, man, is like, this is a legacy, right? So I think all of us just feel incredibly humbled to be a part of it and to have our names in the hat, so to speak. And thank you guys so much for showing us the love and continuing to support it. So
Thank you.
Yeah, man, like I love Cody and I love Tyler, but like Cody says, like Steve and George laid the groundwork for how iconic these characters would become. Steve started with Kingdom Hearts, and I believe his last role as Cloud technically was 7 Remake before they recast everyone, but I guess you could say his last official role was in Dissidia NT. So Steve and George, Rachel Lee Cook, the previous voice casts, I'm forgetting his name, Rick Gomez, I believe, who voiced Zack beautifully. They all laid the groundwork for what the characters would become, what they would sound like, the iconography behind those voices. You don't have what we have today without them. So this is nuts, dude. Seeing the four of them together at one panel is insane. How it's not happened before, I have no clue.
Thank you. Cody, seriously, I mean, you stretched on it beautifully, right? Like, you know, just like live action or films or animation, animes, you name it, video games is huge, right? And the things with video games that a lot of people may or may not understand, or you probably do, is how many millions of copies are being sold.
Oh yeah.
And how many times are you like sharing it with your friends or playing it with your friends or you're playing online with your friends? So it's totally different from, you know, animes or live action films. So really, believe it or not, these guys have played such a massive role in our childhoods or even currently voicing or have voiced. So seriously, give it up for yourselves or, you know, be part of their legacy. And thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Of course.
I also can't get over how yoked Steve and Tyler are. Like, look at their arms, dude. It's making me feel small by comparison. Like, I gotta lift more weights. Jeez.
Okay, so getting right into it, right? Cloud and Sephiroth are two of the most iconic characters in video game history.
Yep.
Not just for their amazing looks, obviously. And for nearly 3 decades, their rivalry has captivated fans around the world. What's especially unique about this panel is that we have 2 generations of Cloud and Sephiroth representing obviously the same stage. Why do you think the conflict between Cloud and Sephiroth continues to resonate so strongly with fans all these years later, and it's one of the greatest in gaming history?
Oh, dude, I'm curious to hear what they say, because there's so many layers to that relationship. Sephiroth is always going to be Cloud's biggest hater, and he will mess with him until the end of time.
I'm sure they can answer that way better than I can. So, but you know, it all starts with characters, right? You know, and it's like Cloud and Sephiroth are a super couple without needing to be a super couple.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started voicing Cloud, I don't know if it's as similar for you guys, but we were always in the booth alone. I met George 3 years ago. I never met George prior to that.
Wow.
So we don't meet the cast at all, right?
That's
so,
insane.
It was just very interesting how we would record, and then, you know, I'd hear George's voice, and I'm like, this guy's voice is, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was an actor. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, sometimes I got to play opposite of George, right? So we could just, you know, it's just something that developed over the years between he and I. And then obviously, of course, how the video games go. But man, it's such a great honor to be a part of a rival like this.
I think it's a complicated relationship. You guys probably know the canon of Sephiroth's origin story a lot better than I do, but I know that he had a very complicated relationship with his mother. His father's a scientist, right? And who is my mother? Where is...
Don't say the other again.
Yeah. And also the amount of conditioner that Sephiroth has to use.
Yep.
That's about to be an issue.
So,
Entire bottle.
There's a lot of hair.
So I'll say one thing, not interested.
Not at all.
Steve, that's my favorite line of that time.
It's the best line.
It's my favorite
Honestly.
line.
It's the best quote to write too, because it's the shortest.
I will say this, kind of to touch on what Steve was saying, right? It all starts with the characters. These 2 characters individually are so fleshed out. So being able to play into it, develop the relationship from the beginning of the games all the way to this 3rd one. I think my perspective on it, I don't know if you agree or not, but it's like the dichotomy between Sephiroth and Cloud, as much as they hate each other, they can't exist without each other.
Yep.
They absolutely need each other to be who they are individually, right? Sephiroth is not Sephiroth fully without the existence of Cloud. Likewise, Cloud is not who he is without the existence of Sephiroth and the hunting and the relationship that they have. And it's very cool too to see, like, in the beginning, it wasn't what it turned out to be. I love doing these flashback things, going all the way back to Newbern, for example, where it's like Cloud was
They were buddies, man.
mesmerized
They were
by
good
you.
buddies, yeah.
You know, he was my idol. It's actually what you as a soldier was what Cloud was striving to become.
Yep.
So, you know, to start there and end up where you and I are having a face-off call of mankind is it's just such a special relationship, and I think that's why it stood the test of time, personally.
The whole they need each other thing is true. Cloud is like Sephiroth's Horcrux, right? As long as Cloud is around, Sephiroth will always find a way to come back. So that creates a very interesting problem for part 3, Revelation, where it's the last game. It'll probably have like an actual finite ending where they beat Sephiroth and Genova for real. And it's like, how do you do that? And like Cody said, they kind of need each other, Sephiroth more than Cloud, which I think plays into the story of Revelation and what Sephiroth is doing, his machinations of maybe creating a world. Nobody dies, he rules it, but he still needs Cloud in some way to do it. So like they literally and figuratively need each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything with a complicated past, you know, like you said, there's fully fleshed out characters. So to see where they started, to where that road leads them, it's super fun to play. You know, I'm with you guys. Like the understanding story in this world is so much different than when you film something, because you have this script from start to finish, you rehearse without set, you plan on with each other, to being in a booth, even just for the way that they're reading the lines, at least my experience was kind of reading, even if you have a monologue, you're kind of like a sentence at a time, matching the file length and all of this. So the story sometimes gets a little bit lost, but you know, hearing the work that he did, these guys did, I think it's just something that characters like this, that people can appreciate the journey that people go on, is something that's always going to be timeless. So
I love that. For these wonderful gentlemen, everyone.
You guys are way too kind. Absolutely.
Speaking of kind, I have a really important story I'd have to share with everyone, and then before I turn it over to Lillian, is for Steve and for George. You know, I remember, George, last year, I forget which con we were at together, and how many fans do we have of Kingdom Hearts over here? There you go.
I'm a lapsed fan. I loved the first 2 when I was a kid, and then I fell off. I didn't play any of the sequels. I called them spin-offs in one video, and a Kingdom Hearts fan got very mad at me. They're not spin-offs, they're sequels. I didn't play any of the sequels until 3. I tried to get caught up before then, but I was very confused. A Xemnas, a Xehanort, a nobody. I couldn't follow it. But I love the first 2.
Okay, cool. So I have this incredible, and I'm a fan just like you guys, obviously. We're all fans of something. So I have this incredibly rare storyboard piece from the pilot for the anime series that never happened, right?
Really?
The legendary Seth Kearsley himself. So
I didn't know they were doing
the
the animated one at one point.
Any part of that game to sign it. So it's a great journey for me, as we talked about journey. So coming up to George, right? I was like, George, you know, when it comes to animation, you're my favorite Superman of all time. It means everything to me. And then the fact that he's Sephiroth. Okay. So when I gave it to him to sign it, he goes, so man, what is this gonna be, George? I'm like, I'll tell you after you sign it. But for me, that was a surreal moment, because I'm like, oh my God, we have Superman and Sephiroth touching it. And then when I met Steve in Dallas, in South Japan, coming up to you with that piece, I was like, it is an honor for me, because you know, all my family members and I used to play Kingdom Hearts. And I'm sure, Tony, you probably played Kingdom Hearts growing up yourself.
I'm aware.
Yeah, okay. So, for me to bring that to you, that
Very
you
Cloud of
guys
them.
having imprints on it, it meant everything to me. And I even have it with me till today, with me. And I'm just like, you're part of my life more than you know. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. George and Steve are part of our childhoods. Cody and Tyler are part of adulthood. And to think that this series in particular with Final Fantasy VII has been going on for nearly 30 years is bananas.
And then right before we turn it over to you guys, I believe Lillian has one question for you guys.
So you guys voiced these video game characters. So how is it different than voice than just animated, or even when you do live action? How is it different?
Main difference for me is having something to play off of. So in the booth, it's a very isolating and solo experience. Most of the time, I really probably only heard maybe one or two of your lines back.
Wow.
Or like I never heard any of the other readings from the other characters. So it's really, you really just kind of constantly giving. Whereas on set, it's very much it's a game of tennis. It's a back and forth. So you're seeing what the other person's doing, you're reacting to that, you're feeling that. So it's more just having things to respond to as opposed to just generating everything from the voice side of things.
He makes a really good point too, right? So I can't speak on the other things. This is my first and only voice acting that I've done has been this character.
Me too.
Oh yeah, really? Oh my man. So I can't speak on that, but 95% of my career has been on set, film, television, screen work. And the point he made is like something that I didn't necessarily understand going into it, outside of the technical stuff, right? Like a lot of people don't understand that like you're on a microphone, clean audio files are necessary, you're generating energy, movement, whatever physicality in the booth. You can't be moving around doing this. The second you're off mic even slightly, audio files aren't usable. So understanding the technique side of things, that was like obviously a part of it. But really it's that. It's you're so isolated. And there's a beautiful thing about this. When you're on a set, there's so much to play off of. Camera's seeing everything. You and I sitting at this table, like we don't really need to create the life, the camera's assisting with that. We just have to be truthful, honest, and authentic with the emotions that we're exchanging between the two of us. But in the booth, I record with like the lights almost all the way down. And a lot of the times I'm closing my eyes, I'm building this entire world. It's very interesting. A 4-hour session of doing voice recording to me is much more exhausting than being on set for 16 hours. Just simply because of the amount of focus that has to go into it. That was like my biggest like takeaway, the differences.
Yeah, I'll let George has done a lot of both, so, but I'll go on, with Cody, what Cody was saying is, when you're on camera, the emotion, the depth of Cloud, if you're on camera, people can see it in your eyes, see it in your body language, but the only thing they're getting is your voice. So the amount of emotional depth and work that you have to do in that cold, dark booth that we were in all the time.
It's gotta be hard.
Was, first of all, a great training, because it really pushes you to be better and go deeper. And the other way people can tell emotion is by your voice. They can't see your face, they can't see anything else. So it was an incredible lesson to learn on, because again, it was my first job. Kingdom Hearts was my first job as Cloud, and then everything else after that, but I've never done other voiceovers. So that was a great lesson for me.
I was just gonna say, the biggest challenge for me is when especially when you do a fighting game, or a lot of Justice League stuff for Final Fantasies and Hercules for Ragnarok, is that you get a list of all those cues, and they just seem to be endless. And there's not a lot of variation in what the emotion is, but you kind of have to put yourself in there and not blow your voice out. 4 hours doesn't seem like a long time, but I'm telling you, 4 hours is an eternity. It seems like you're just shot when you're done.
Yeah,
when
we did Advent Children, it was 8-hour sessions.
Jeez.
And then they would always say, okay, we're gonna keep the sound effects until the end because you don't want to blow your voice out. And I think there was a motorcycle wreck or something that had to do. I had to do 127 sounds that they had to piece together. So, listen, it's an amazing job, and we're just so grateful I'm so grateful to be even up here talking to you guys about it, because it's amazing. So. And Cody taking over was a wonderful thing. He's doing an amazing job, and I'm super proud of him. Totally, yeah. Because when this all happened, the transition happened, everybody was fighting and battling the old guard, the new guard.
Yeah.
But the truth is, in our life, it's a job. You're an actor. Jobs come, jobs go. Doors close and doors open. And to have a new cast like this who's so talented to take on the legend is awesome. So thank you guys.
Steve, I need to say something to you too, man. When all this transpired years back, I was so fucking nervous, man. I was stepping into this. My brother is a super fan, right? So when I first told him, he was my first guy. I turned to him and he was like, all right, this is what you gotta do. He was like, he's like, I'm not gonna make you download the emulator, but like, you need to watch this playthrough of the OG game. Then you need to study this. Then you need to learn this. My brother made me watch Advent Children with him like 5 times, back to back to back to back. Yes. You being so kind and gracious, I swear on everything, is what gave me the confidence to step into this and go like, all right, if I botch it, I botch it, but I'm gonna go down swinging. I'm gonna do my best. So like, I appreciate you, man. Been nothing but kind and support to me, and it's been a pleasure to like meet you and be face to face.
This is the first time we met face to face this weekend. So thank you.
Wow. I'm so happy that they said that. It looks like we're at the end already.
And again, due to time constraint, if you guys have any questions, please make sure you visit their booths. And I really want you guys to say thank you so much for being here. Of course.
It's too short.
I'm not sure I can speak for everyone.
It's too short.
You guys make me want to play all the Final Fantasy games you guys are involved in. And Cody, all of you guys are just wonderful souls. So thank you so much for being here. One more time.
Oh my god, that's it? I got not even 20 minutes? Okay, apparently Nostalgicon has plans to bring them back for another round. If anyone at Nostalgicon is watching this, for the love of God, please let the next panel with these 4 guys be an hour long. This is so cool. This is so special. And like, I can't speak for everyone in the fandom. This legitimately means a lot to me. To have these 4 together for the first time. It spans decades and decades, but I'm so happy that Steve and Cody ended the panel the way that they did, because like Steve said, I remember when the whole recasting thing went down. Obviously the way that Square Enix did it wasn't great. If I remember correctly, I think the previous voice cast found out very last minute that they were being recast. So it just kind of happened really quick. But I remember, like Steve said, there was so much fighting in the fandom at that time. How could you replace the actors? They're the best. The new ones suck. The new ones are great. The old ones suck. I remember there was a petition, I think a change.org petition from somebody who wanted Square Enix to have the old cast come in and record all of the dialogue for 7 Remake and have that be DLC because they didn't want the new voices. And it's like, look, I get it. We're all so attached. Steve and George will always have a special place in my heart because they were the Cloud and the Sephiroth for decades. Again, they set that tone for what those characters should be. So when the whole casting thing started happening, it was an adjustment to hear new voices for these characters that we had gotten so used to hearing. Steve and George and Rachel and is it Bo Billings who voiced Barrett? He barely got any lines in Advent Children. It was a huge adjustment, but then Remake came out and we played it and I'm like, oh my God, everyone in this cast is just perfectly cast and they're doing an amazing job with the work that they've been given. And again, I think that the localization and the writing has come a long way since the era that Steve and George were in, especially with Steve saying like when they did Advent Children, they did 8-hour sessions sometimes, which is insane. I think they now have laws against that to protect voice actors, where it's like, no, 4 hours is what you get. You can't go over that because you will damage your voice. So 8 hours sometimes for Advent Children, having to match the Japanese lip flap sounds like a nightmare. And we've seen some footage over the years of them in the booth recording for that movie in particular. But again, like to see them just be so cordial with one another and Steve being like, look, it's a job. Sometimes you get cast, sometimes you get replaced. That's just how it works. So I'm just happy that they said that, because I think even to this day, you still have people that for whatever reason get really, really kind of toxic and mean with it when it comes to the voice actors. And to see the love between them on stage, I think is great. And hopefully that spreads to the fandom, and hopefully people, will stop that infighting of like, this is better than that one. This sucks. I can't stand the remix series. It's so exhausting sometimes. I purposely stay away from Twitter because of a lot of that stuff. But this was cool. Again, it's only 20 minutes. It's like 19. NostalgiaCon always has really great panels with guests, but my God, are these panels so damn short. Not even 20 minutes for these four together. They barely got like a lot of questions in. They didn't get a chance to do fan questions because the convention time constraints for the panel were so short. So if anyone from NostalgiaCon sees this video, please, for the love of God, if you bring these four back together, give them at least 40 minutes together. 60 would be preferred, but 40 minutes, 20 to do like questions from the host, 20 to maybe do fan questions, because this is special. This means a lot. We've never gotten something like this before, and I hope that this starts, you know, maybe a trend in the future where we could get, you know, more panels like this with these four, or like a Britt Baron panel with Rachel Lee Cook, you know. That would be pretty sick, just to hear their experiences and how things have changed, how things are very similar, how much respect they have for the fan base and the games. I love this stuff. So unfortunately, Tyler didn't get to really speak much on like not being able to come back for Revelation, but just to hear their experiences in the booth and how similar it was. Poor Tyler, not really having much to work off of other than maybe a couple of lines from Cody, because he's got so much monologuing to do in Remake and Rebirth, especially Rebirth. Sephiroth's just got lines and lines of cryptic dialogue that has got to be exhausting to try and make sense of and record. So just to hear how similar that all was. This is cool though. Again, like I really hope that they do bring them back very soon, and I just hope that they give them more time. I love seeing them interact and hearing their stories, and it would have been really cool to see some fan questions as well. But 2 eras of FF7, Cloud and Sephiroth, being able to join up and meet for the first time, share those experiences, this is super cool. And for Steve to only have met George 3 years ago is bonkers, because they've just been so closely connected because of Cloud and Sephiroth for decades now that this was their first time meeting. I do remember when Cody got cast and it was announced, Steve did put out a Twitter video like congratulating him and thanking the fan base and wishing Cody the best. So there's always been positive energy there. It's just the fan base sometimes gets really carried away, but this was fun. I just wish there was more of it. Yeah, NostalgiaCon, if you see this, you got to make these panels longer. 20 minutes is just not enough. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Again, I think they only got like 3 questions in. Yeah, what's it like to be a part of the legacy? What do you think of Cloud and Sephiroth's conflict continues to resonate with fans? And then the difference between on camera and voice acting stuff. Also, funny enough, I think it was Steve who kind of referred to, or was it Steve or George who kind of referred to Cloud and Sephiroth as kind of like being like a couple, like a power couple. There's that shot in Revelation where it looks like Cloud and Sephiroth are in the Northern Crater and Sephiroth is just caressing Cloud's face. They're lovers. I think that scene is, Cloud is seeing someone else. He's probably seeing Aerith in that moment, and Sephiroth is just messing with him. But again, that was the video. I'll give it a like. This is fun. I hope we get more stuff like this. This is really cool. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below of the panel, what you guys thought of, actually, this is the question I want to know is, are you someone who's new to the Final Fantasy VII franchise, or are you like me, where you grew up with Steve and George and then transitioned into Cody and Tyler as an adult, or are you brand new to this? I would also love for you to let me know, like, what's your favorite either voice line or just like character moment from all 4 of these guys? Because Steve's been able to do a lot with Kingdom Hearts and Dissidia. George has done a lot. There's the Advent Children stuff. There's now Remake series. So like, favorite line or moment from all 4 of these guys. The not interested is pretty good from both Steve and Cody. For me, I think there's a line that Tyler has in Rebirth where he just tells Cloud, nice work. I'm like, that's so Superman coded. And George, my favorite George line is in Advent Children. I think it's, yeah, he's about to slice a building in half to crumble onto Cloud, and he just goes, on your knees. I want you to beg for forgiveness. And then he just goes up and cuts through a building. And then Cloud has to separate his fusion sword to get some bearing. And then he flips backwards and then somehow sends himself forward and cuts through the buildings. It's so sick. Those are like some of my favorite lines. Cody's just incredible. His moment with Tifa and Gungaga after the reactor incident is beautiful voice acting, and there's so much more to look forward to in Revelation. So I'll stop yapping because this will go on for another 20 minutes. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. I will see you guys in the next one. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.